I'm delighted to be joined by Professor Muhammad Yunus, Nobel Peace Prize winner and pioneer of microfinance, on the sidelines of the GIES program in Dubai. Thank you very much indeed for talking with us. We heard you on stage this morning. One of your main messages, of course, was the banks don't want to take the risks with SMEs. I wish you'd been hosting my panel and grilled those chief executives a little bit more. But that is your main message, right?
When you mention SME is way above our head. We are talking about loans for $100, $200. We are not talking about $100,000. So when you're talking about SME, this is a $100,000 business.
All right. Well, let me ask you. Let me ask you then about something else you said. If you want risk-free banking, you need to work with poor people.
Yes, because they have demonstrated that very reliable. The repayment rate all across the world in microfinance is near 100%. We are running Grameen Bank for the last 40 years. Our repayment rate never went below 97%. We run programs in the United States. We have 18 branches there. We are working for 6 years now. Repayment rate is right now 99.6%. It never went below 99.5.
Are the Islamic banks shirking their responsibilities to SMEs, and indeed lower down?
I cannot make that comment because I have not studied that issue in the Islamic bank.
But who is responsible, would you say, for addressing the issue generally of financial inclusion? Is it the banks? Is it government? Is it the regulators? Or is it everyone?
It should be everyone. I mean, this is a general concern, human concern, that why should we have institutions which will be biased towards a certain group of people and ignore everybody else, particularly who has the most pressing need for money. You need a dollar to catch a dollar. If you don't have your first dollar in your hand, you never catch the next dollar. So that's where the beginning of life happens with the poor people. Nobody gives them the first dollar so that they can catch the next dollar and move on from there.
Can Islamic markets really continue to develop at the speed, at the pace with which we want them to develop without this sort of inclusion that we're searching for?
When you exclude people, you're excluding vitality in the economy. They bring vitality. They become, instead of dependent, they become contributor to the economy. So that's a big force, and their young people are looking for ways to express themselves. So if you ignore a section of people, I don't think you build a good, robust economy.
Where are we headed, though? What is the future for microfinance? Will it always be a niche segment, if you like, in financial services?
You can call it a niche. If half the population of the world is a niche to you,
then it's not a niche,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So half the world population needs financial services. It's missing. Microcredit came to fill that gap. So they are struggling to make it happen because they are not banks. They are NGOs mostly. So they need to find money to lend money, which is not a good way to run the business. I'm saying, why don't you allow the microfinance NGOs to convert themselves in microfinance banks and limit themselves into that work? And then suddenly everything is done.
You know, you come to a lot of conferences like this, you speak to a lot of people on this issue. I've spoken to you before in Davos at the World Economic Forum. Do you feel you are making progress? Do you feel every time you come back to a conference year after year that this discussion has moved on and people are getting it?
It is moving on because now I see a lot more response from people, a lot more actions from people. Microfinance is one segment, that the bigger segment is a more multidimensional segment, which is social business. It encompasses all aspects of the economy, all aspects of human life. So you create business to solve problem. Problem of healthcare, for example, is a massive problem globally. You can address it in a social business in an affordable way, bring technology to help, brings healthcare in the remote places to the households which were never addressed before. So suddenly these new ideas start coming in, and also environmental issues are very important.
Yeah,
so you can create environmental social businesses to produce renewable energy, to bring renewable energy at the homes which are dependent on fossil fuel energy.
Final question. It was something else you said this morning in your address. If you encounter problems that are unresolved, do the reverse. Approach them from the other side, I think was the message. Explain that to me. What did you mean by that?
I'm telling the experience that we have gone through.
Okay.
conventional banking has not solved the problem of this. So we reverse the whole conventional banking. Everything they do, we do the opposite way. And suddenly we see that it works for poor people. So, and come to the business world, they do the business to make money for themselves. We reverse it. We do the business to solve people's problem without having any intention of making money.
Right.
So suddenly it opens up a new door. So I'm saying that what we do conventionally, you go in a certain direction. In the way, you create some problems we cannot resolve because this system cannot address that. You reverse the system, suddenly it becomes available to the people who are ignored.
Very good. Professor Yunus, many thanks for talking with Reuters today. Professor Muhammad Yunus, that is it from me. Plenty more interviews from GIES Today. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.